Welcome back to the Pioneer Coaches Show, presented by GoMart. Go for good times, go for GoMart. With me now is head men's basketball coach Bob Bolen. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Jagger, thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, it's one of the more wild weeks in the Waco Center last week. It started out with Charleston on Wednesday night. It was a 79-78 defeat. I mean, it was one of the more wild games we had in here. Unfortunate ending of a wild ending. Just your thoughts on the game on Wednesday night with Charleston.
It was just a really knockdown, drag-out game. Went down to the end. We didn't execute defensively very well the last 5 seconds of the game. Thought we played great the first 44 minutes and 55 seconds, but in an overtime game, you have to play 45 minutes. And, just a couple errors down the stretch. They made a good play getting all the way to the basket. I didn't really agree with the flagrant foul. I didn't think it was intentional. But great game, great atmosphere. Charleston has a terrific team. And, again, it went right down to the wire.
And then a lot of the same thing happened on Saturday. It was Concord inside the Waco Center. It was a 90-89 win. Once again, one of the more crazy finishes. You're down 7 with about a minute and a half, minute 40 left. You cut it down. Knott gets fouled with about 5 seconds left, hits 2 of the 3 free throws, and the defense comes up clutch there at the end. Kid airballs it. Your thought on Saturday's win?
Yeah, we executed the last 5 seconds, but our guys just showed that they never quit. I mean, we were down 13 with 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And really weren't playing well, and Concord was shooting threes, and just I think they're really a good team, and they've lost their best player, and I think their coach has done a tremendous job in keeping that team together and for them to play that well, and then our guys just wouldn't quit. I mean, 5 minutes to go, we're down, like you said, a minute and something left, down 7,
Yeah.
and they had the ball.
Yeah.
They got a double dribble. And our guys just kept fighting, kept clawing. We got some key stops in the last 2 minutes of the game, and we were able to convert offensively. And then, Jalen Knott and Prince Masingo go out for senior night, and both of them have huge games. Jalen, 35 points. Prince, 11 for 12 from the field. What a way to go out senior night, and just really happy for those guys. And just made big plays and just refused to quit. And I thought, I think we've had that determination all year.
Yeah.
I think at times, we don't play well, but at times we play really well. And when we play really well, we're hard to beat. And I was just really proud of their effort.
Excuse me there. And Jalen Knott, we mentioned him. Him and Elijah Redfern earned all MEC honors. Knott getting the first team nod, Redfern the second team nod. How important have those guys been to your team this year?
Oh, just great guard play the entire season. And I mean, we have 5 or 6 guys that have played tremendously all year, and I'm happy Jalen and Elijah got recognized for their efforts, and I'm sure their teammates are too. But both of them had tremendous years, and both of them are very worthy of the recognition that they get.
And now coming up to the MEC tournament, it'll be a rematch of last year's quarterfinals. Kind of the same stage. Charleston swept you guys in the regular season last year. You beat them in the quarterfinal round this year. They swept you in the regular season. A chance to do it again in the 4-5 matchup this time. How do you feel with your matchup heading into Friday night?
Well, I mean, we're going to be ready.
Yeah.
And we'll be ready to play. You can guarantee that. I think Charleston's really good. I think James Long does a great job of coaching them. But you can count on Glenville State. We'll be ready. We'll be ready to play. We'll be healthy. And we are very excited to get down to Wheeling and have this first-round matchup.
And then with the MEC tournament, too, 3 days, or chance to win a title takes 3 days and 3 games. What do you feel it's going to take to be able to make that run and win a conference championship this year?
Yeah. Step one is going to be getting by Charleston.
Yep.
And, with Rygat out, we're not really deep. So I'm sure we're going to have some contributions from people that are going to have to step up in order to win 3 games in 3 days. But obviously we're thinking about one, and you get adrenaline going, and you don't really think about you're tired in tournament situations. And I coached in the NAIA, and we had to win 5 games in 5 nights. No, I'm sorry, 5 games in 6 nights. And a strong point for this team has been toughness all year, and it takes toughness to go win a tournament, and we have that toughness.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this week in the MEC tournament.
Okay, Jagger, thank you.
welcome back to the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me now is head track and field coach Dan Meyers. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Jagger, thanks for having me.
Coach, when I talked to you last week, thought it'd be the last time we would be talking to you until the outdoor season, but that changed. Janae Scott was at a last chance meet over the weekend, and with her throws that she had at MECs, qualified for nationals. So what's this been like for you and for her, as you got the news and, everything transpiring for this with her going to nationals?
Yeah, she's definitely in. The official list will come out tonight. It's pretty surreal to, cross-country season, kind of have an unexpected qualifier, Natalie Barr. After what she did in indoors, probably not super, surprised at this point, and then to follow it up with what Janae's done, and I put Janae and Natalie on a pedestal because, in my opinion, I think they're two of the best female athletes that we've ever had at this school, and we're very lucky to have them. And back in January when we got back from break and I met with all the event groups, I said that, I talked about, the Janaes, the Natalies, the Addie Cottrells, the Jenna Barnetts, that, we're always going to beat the ground in recruiting, but there's no guarantee that we'll ever have these type of athletes again. And I wanted to make sure we soaked it up as much as possible. And, I'm not going to sit here and take credit for Janae. Coach Johnson, my college teammate, that's our throws coach, has done all the work with her. And, if you take Janae's high school shot put, mark. She was somewhere in the low 11 meters. She transferred here from the University of Bridgeport in Connecticut, and she only had a semester there because she did the military in the fall of her freshman year. And that's also a thing. She balances the military and actually has drill this weekend. So just, embodies everything that, it takes to do what she's doing. And but yeah, her mark at that school was 1085. And to get here and throw a bunch of throws in the 13s, have a huge upset at the MEC meet, upset the girl from Charleston, and both of them are qualified for the national meet, which is pretty cool. And she's going to be one of about 4 or 5 MEC athletes qualified for the national meet, and also our first ever indoor and outdoor qualifier. It's been huge. So just kudos to Coach Johnson, kudos to Janae for just trusting the process, and I'm excited for this experience for all of us to head down to Virginia Beach. So.
And you mentioned that being down in Virginia Beach, the experience, what's that kind of look like for you guys? It's a 2-day event. She'll compete on Saturday, kind of later on Saturday. So what's all that look like for you as you head down to nationals?
Yeah, so we'll probably leave on early Thursday morning. We'll get up there. There'll probably be a time that the athletes will get to check in and get some cool gifts and stuff like that. And Friday morning, we'll go to the facility, get some practice in so she can kind of get used to that ring and kind of that environment. But it's huge. About 300 schools in Division II sponsor this sport, and this is the best of the best. You look across probably 80% of the meets and 80% of the events at the D2 national meet, and a lot of those people will be competing for their country at their national championships. So it is the best of the best to see the Adams States, the Grand Valleys, the Saginals, the Pittsburgh States, all the juggernauts there. It's just absolutely huge. So it's just such a huge honor for our program. And I was telling you before we got started that Janae's top 250 in the world right now in shot put. Just absolutely unreal. But we're very blessed, and on to outdoor the following week, and maybe another qualification for Janae coming in outdoor too. So, but we're gonna soak this up and enjoy the experience, and it helps us grow as coaches. We get to network with a lot of people down at nationals, so it's huge for the entire program, huge for the institution. Just so proud to be a part of it.
And I wanted to ask you too before we get off, what's this doing for your program? You look back at cross country, you qualify. Natalie Barr. You get to go to Wisconsin. Glenville's on a bigger map. Now you get to go to Virginia Beach for indoor track, qualify another athlete for nationals. What's this doing for you for the program and also, for the school? What's that doing for you guys?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, before I got here, there was a solid track roster that was built by Coach Spino. But the distance, and we didn't really have the top throwers we have now, but the distance was kind of in the gutter for 30, 40 years. And, there's a lot of proud alums of Glenville that are jumping back on the ship.
Yeah.
And that means a lot to me, just how I connect with them on Facebook, how they follow our teams and stuff like that. And there's a lot of proud Glenville alums out there that are excited to see what we're doing. These are things, if we're going back to women's cross country, I probably inherited one of the worst teams in the country. Us being top 15 in the region, having a national qualifier, multiple all-region athletes, and then just again, having someone top 16 in the country in an event it's very, very hard to do. I remember my first year coaching as an assistant with Coach Skiles, and one of my best friends, Zach Shreve, qualified in the 110 hurdles, and we went to Grand Valley. And I was just a sicko for the sport, and getting used to it and just being like, man, this is the best of the best. This is awesome. And I remember Coach looking at me and being like, this is really hard. This is not easy to do. He said, luckily I work for him now, but he said, you're going to have work for an administration that's always not going to get it, a school that's not always going to get it. And just having one here is a huge deal. I mean, to put it in perspective, if Janae would somehow sneak into a scoring spot and we put a point on the board, we're probably a top 30 team in the country. Yeah. That's what it takes. That's how they score the meet. And then 6 years later, I got to take Sid Pinot in the steeplechase. And there was a lot of years in between that I never thought I'd get back to a national meet. And Natalie helped me, have a huge dream come true. And Janae's continuing it. And I know Coach Johnson's really excited. He said the stars have kind of aligned for this. And I said, buddy, that's what happened on a cold fall day in November for us too. So I was like, we're running on that luck right now. And it's really just their hard work and their belief. It takes it's hard to recruit females to this school, and we have some girls that take care of things in the classroom. Janae takes care of her military business. She's a proud, person in the U.S. military member, and we're just really, really blessed, and we're glad to connect more people to our program.
And there you have it. Janae Scott will be competing March 13th and 14th, technically, down in Virginia Beach for the NCAA D2 Indoor Track and Field Nationals. Coach, congratulations, and we'll talk to you here in a few weeks.
Thanks, Jagger. I appreciate it.
Basketball season is rolling, baby. Tony here, and I'm feeling the groove.
Brad here checking in, and when the hoops are flying, it's full court fun at GoMart.
That's right, the Groovy Hoops promotion is on now. Take your shot to earn bonus reward points and tokens when you purchase one of 6 specially marked items.
Collect all 6 tokens for an additional 2,000 points. Sign up for GoMart Rewards and watch your points soar like a slam dunk in platform shoes.
Go to GoMart.com or check the app for all the details. Stay groovy.
Welcome back to the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me now is head acrobatics and tumbling coach Taylor Broadwater. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, you were coming off the pair of wins last Saturday. Didn't compete this past week. What was the week of practice looking like as you're heading to Frostburg on Thursday?
We had some very solid practices, very excited with where the team is at and what we were able to do and the things that we were able to clean up and accomplish last week. So definitely proud of the team for all that we worked on.
And now you got Frostburg, like I mentioned, on Thursday. Team coming in 3-0, a win over Stevenson to start out the year with their highest score of 245, and then cap that off with a tri-meet win over Kutztown and West Liberty this past Friday. What have you seen out of the Bobcats thus far?
Definitely a solid team. They've been one of our biggest competitors for the last couple years. So definitely a very solid program, and I continue to see improvement from them each and every time they step on the mat.
You got a little adversity happening right now with the team. What do you want to see out of your team now? It's a big matchup, 4-0 versus 3-0. It's a big matchup for conference standings as well. What do you want to see out of your team on Thursday?
I want to see this team pull together and prove to me what we preach every single day. Against all odds, we will rise above it. So I think this week is extremely challenging for where we're at. Do I think the challenge is too big for this program? No.
Yep.
I think that we are going to be able to put up something that is going to be competitive and continue to see them progress through, but to see them come together and work together as a team when we have 24 hours is something I'm proud of, and I am still excited for what's to come on Thursday.
And that Thursday meets at 6 o'clock there in Frostburg, Global State, Frostburg State. But, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this week.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me now is head women's basketball coach Emily Stoller. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me on.
All right, Coach. The week started out in the Waco Center on Wednesday with Charleston. It was an 87-66 win. Started off, down there early in the first quarter, made a big comeback in the second quarter, and really just ran away with it in that third quarter. Just your thoughts on Wednesday's win.
Yeah, obviously, Charleston was, one of our previous losses in the league early on in the season, first game out of the year for us. So we definitely, owed them one at our place. And coming in and prepping for the game, Charleston's very well coached, and they've got two all league, all conference kids over there who. First game back for them was against us here on the second time around. A hard team to prepare for and to play, but our kids showed up and they knew that the regular season championship was on the line that night, and we come away with almost a 30-point win and play most of our kids on the roster. So good performance by the group, and we came together as a team to win that one.
And then Saturday here in the Waco Center on Senior Day and Winter Homecoming is one of the more crazier days in the Waco Center. Count the women's and the men's. With your game, you're down 14 in the fourth quarter, down by 8 with about a minute and 15 seconds left. You come back, storm all the way back. Wando hits some shots, and then the big three from Jada Alley and the stop there at the end. Just your thoughts on Saturday's big win.
Yeah, I've replayed that the last quarter there quite a bit since we played. I think the gym, being a Glenville kid myself, playing, that was the atmosphere in the Waco Center due to our fans, was unreal. It's a magical moment for our team and our kids. And, again, every game down the stretch here when seedings and, conference standings are on the line, Concord came in the gym, ready to play. But things that we worked for all season long showed up in that 14-point comeback in the fourth quarter, and I'm just proud. Proud is the word. I'm proud of my kids for how hard they played to fight back into that game, and hopefully looking to take that momentum here going into tournament play.
And the All-MEC selections were released on Monday. Corinne Pinckney, first team, and then Puda Bryant and Wando Kigbo earning All-MEC second team. How important have those three players been to your team's success this year as you win 22 games?
Yeah, definitely. Those three, are key pieces, to the success that we've had thus far into the season. With system basketball, we talk it could be anybody's night, and I think our scouts probably one of the hardest scouts in the league to prepare for that reason. Proud of those three. They definitely deserve it. But definitely looking to make some noise here heading into the tournament.
And now you mentioned the MEC tournament. You'll start out tournament play on Thursday, either the 8 seed West Virginia State or the 9 seed West Liberty. What's this preparation look like? We kind of talked about it before we got on air. You're in a good spot as the number 1 seed, but it's a little odd because you're not going to know who you're going to play until about midday on Wednesday. So what's that look like for you guys?
Yeah, you talk about West Virginia State or West Liberty winning that game. You're talking two completely different game plans. Completely different styles of basketball, and the game's affected differently with that reason. Now, we've got 3 practices here this week to prepare before we go down and play. And that just looks like getting back to our preseason practices, getting back to what our principles that we've applied since day one. We talk about DNA a lot in the group, leadership and accountability a lot, and just making sure that we have A+ in all of those categories, and kind of taking a look in the mirror here before we look outwardly is going to be important.
And to win a conference championship, you got to win 3 games in 4 days. You got all the way to the championship last year. What's it going to take this time in 2026 to complete that and win a conference tournament championship?
Yeah, I think the league is very competitive. The conference standings really came down to the wire in the last game here of the regular season. Whoever shows up and is most consistent for 4 days of basketball takes the league this year. So definitely coming in with a sense of urgency to be consistent is on our radar.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this week here in the MEC tournament.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. Joining me now is head wrestling coach Dylan Cottrell. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, happy to be back.
Coach, there's a lot to talk about. Is your second consecutive NCAA D2 Super Region 3 championships. You had 2 individual champions, and in total had 6 qualify for the D2 National Championships on March 13th and 14th in South Dakota. First wanted to hit on the individual champions. You had Zach Parker at 133, Nick Johnson at 197. A little bit different. Zach Parker comes in as the 4 seed, works his way through, and wins there in the finals, and Nick Johnson just, wiped the competition the whole way through. Just what do you think of those 2 guys winning those individual championships?
Yeah, their roads were definitely a lot different. Zach Parker, he, mid-season made a big decision that, hey, we got a really good 141, and I want to wrestle right now. I don't want to wait. 133 is a huge cut for me, and it's going to be pretty miserable sometimes. But these are the type of things that make those sacrifices worth it. Obviously, results can help a lot, and getting your hand raised helps. But the first thing after he won, he came off and was pretty much saying trust the process. I'm really glad that I continued to listen to you about this stuff. It was really hard sometimes, and I didn't see it at the end. But that's more of what we have to have with our guys. Like, they have a good coaching staff here that wants the best for them, and I think deep down they know that, and that helps when, like any athlete, you're going to have times where you question things, and it's just tough. And I would say Zach Parker's the toughest guy we got on our team, right? If not, he's dang near close to the toughest. He's went through some really tough weight cuts to get down to that weight, and never missed weight, never complained about it. So I'm really proud of him on that. And honestly, I think that those tough moments that he's had to endure with making the weight and figuring it out really played dividends in these matches. He had 4 matches, 4-0 on the day. The back 3 matches, all of them he was trailing, losing in the match late. I believe he was losing in the match in the 3rd period in all 3 of them. Maybe the finals he wasn't. It was at the end of the 2nd where he hit his big cradle. But even then, right, trailing in 3 matches, finding ways to win. The quarterfinal match, down 20 seconds with a restart, comes out, punches an underhook, throws in a single leg, gets in a scramble, scores with 3 seconds to go to win, right? The next match, 3rd period, down late, on bottom, same position that he lost in the Conci semis at MECs to a leg rider. Talked about it, what you got to do, gets in the same position, figures it out, takes the dude to his back, rides out the rest of the period, wins. That was awesome to see because he really struggled in the MEC tournament, and that was tough on him. And one of those times where I'm talking about of hardship for him, and is this is this the right decision for me to move down, all this. And then the championship, the kid came out hot, got on him twice. Another one who he lost to in the MEC. And he did a really good job of just being stingy, and he did that all day in a position. Kid was about to take him down for a 3rd time. He created a good scramble. Kid got a little greedy, came up, boom, hit him in a 7-point move cradle, and then kind of started pouring it on at the end. So unbelievably proud of him. He's tough. And then Nick, it was just the same thing that's been happening all year where, he's really workmanlike. I think he started a little slow in his first match. It definitely wasn't his best rep he's ever had. And, after it, I kind of went over there and talked to him and just said, hey, we gotta commit a little bit more. We got to commit a little bit more on our shots, on our fakes, on our movement. And I think he really did that, especially, starting around the 2nd period of that semifinals match. He really opened that one up late on a guy who is a Division I transfer and someone who is hard to open up. He's really strong and doesn't do a whole lot. And so I think Nick weared him down a lot in those first 2 periods and then really got him opened up in the 3rd and was able to go and attack, do some different things. And then the final, we wrestled that dude 2 weeks ago. It was our last match for Nick. It went to sudden victory in overtime, and then he goes out and pours on. To be honest, the match that Nick wrestled in the finals was probably the best I've seen him wrestle this year.
13-3.
He wrestled some really, really good matches at Midwest. Obviously, I went in that class with that tournament. But I think that's the best match he's wrestled. His reattacks were really good. He did a good job. We talked of a couple adjustments against that kid. He did a really good job of changing those and doing it and trusting me on some shots, of taking some blind shots, right? Now, not a lot of people really know what that is, but he had some things that kid creates motion, and there's some blind reattacks, but you're not going to be able to see them, right? And then go. You just have to trust the feel. He did a good job with that. Got 2 takedowns off of that. Looked really well, and then pushed the pace to go get a major late. Took the dude down with like 2 seconds to go, which at that time we're itching and crawling in a team race to try to win this. Every point matters on those bonus. And so, I was really proud of him. He wrestled really well, and I'm excited for his national tournament.
And you had 4 other guys qualify for the national tournament. All got 2nd place, 141 pounds. Ethan Hardy Gabe Honorado at 149 pounds. Jimmy Bales, the true freshman, at 157. And Leo Hess III, who joined the team at the mid-year, technically was able to wrestle at mid-year at 165 pounds. What do you think of those guys being able to work their way through, get second place, and qualify for the Nationals?
Yeah, all of them had a different journey. Hardy looked good in his first 3 matches. His semifinal match, he got against a guy who was really dangerous, and Ethan was able to kind of maneuver his way through that. Ended up tech falling the guy, but had some moments in there where scaring me over there. But at the same time, he stayed calm and relaxed. Looked good in the finals. Honestly, was in control of the match for 6 minutes and 55 seconds, and gives up a takedown at the end. Did that before at the MEC, so it's just something that he has to change. We've talked about it. When you're that dominant in a match, you can't shut the motor down and try to hold on to the lead that you've created. He has to go and continue to get back. I mean, he was on this kid's legs maybe 10 times on shots, legitimately. Like, you got 30 seconds on a restart. You got to go get on his leg an 11th time, right? Whether you finish or you just hold the leg to the finish. And then the momentum changed. The kid gets 2 takedowns right in a row, and but it's just match management for him, man. He can't change how he wrestles in the last 30 seconds or the last 20 seconds, and that's really it. Everything else for the whole day looked amazing. He looked good. He had a good weight cut. He's got to do the same thing for Nationals, but he's going to figure it out, and he's going to be there. Man, he's tough, and I expect good things from him for the national tournament. Gabe looked great, man. The semifinals match was, I'll be honest, it was probably the most heated I've got in my 6 years. I was about to get thrown out of the tournament. I was so hot. I felt like they tried to take that match away from him 3 or 4 times. There was 2 reviews, one by us and one by the refs, where we scored points and they took them away from us on calls that I just don't understand it. I've been around wrestling a long time. I don't understand it. There's a big debate right now in the wrestling world about reaction time and how long it takes for you to take someone down, and there have to be appropriate reaction time for points. I think that they should be rewarding the wrestlers that are taking risks, and they're not. They're really rewarding the guy who gets taken down and is on the defense and does a good job of, when they get taken down, of popping back up. I think that's crap, and it almost cost us. But Gabe did a great job by going into overtime and a lot of mental resets, and he comes off the match and he said, that's the hardest match I've ever had to wrestle in my life. And it was, I think, not just physically, I think mentally. 2 times you think you win the match mentally, and then they go and turn it back on you, and then you got to get ready to go again, put your headgear back on. That's tough. And so, but that's resilience, and that's the type of wrestler he is. I'm really excited for him. He got majored in the finals, but he was getting ready to take the guy down and got through his back for 7. Like, it was a one big move. He wrestled the kid actually the best he's ever wrestled him. So that was good too. Jimmy Bales, our first freshman national qualifier in the history of our program. We're pretty good, and we don't wrestle freshmen much.
Yeah, he's unreal.
They usually redshirt because we got too many good guys in the lineup, and we get them ready for the next year for them to go. And since day one that Jimmy got here, we've kind of known that he was ready. And we knew that when we recruited him. That he was a big get. We like Jimmy. He's got a professional demeanor about him. Lunch pail, bring it to work. Let's do the right things and go from there. We had a chance. He was the 4 seed. We had a chance to challenge for the 3, and I think we would have won it. But I really wanted to wrestle this 1 seed, he's a returning All-American. He's he beat Guy last year. This is a guy that knocked Guy out of the national tournament, an All-American for us. And so, I like the little get back for me personally from Jimmy, for Guy, and I like it for Jimmy because we knew he could do it. And he went out there, man, and that semifinal match, he broke that guy.
Majored him.
Yeah, broke him. Yeah, and it was close for a little bit, and then I'm actually over there with Gabe. That match was going on at the same time, so I'm having to get a little bit of relayed information. But with some of those breaks too, I was able to watch a little bit, and I was able to watch the moment when he was able to really break the guy and get him. He had a big double leg, picked him up in the air, slammed him to the mat. Crowd went crazy. That place also was pretty wild this weekend. It was a good little atmosphere. And then, Jimmy, I think, wrestled Taddy, who he lost to in the MEC finals, a little bit better. And so he's just coming along. The bracket's a little different at 57 than I thought it was going to be at the NCAA tournament. I think Jimmy's got a good chance. He's got to continue to wrestle confident. He's getting better every week. That's a good thing about freshmen, as they get better their whole first year. And so really excited for him. And then obviously Leo, what a story. He's not here at all first semester. He's back home practicing with a high school, not being able to get in the work that he, needs, and comes in here and he kind of lights it on fire and, wins a close first match, a really gritty one. He's the definition of grit with wrestling, man. He's a little pit bull who goes out there and he puts 7 minutes of chaos on you. And can you wrestle me this hard for 7 minutes? And that's how he beat Waters, who was number 3 in the country in the semi. He figures out a way to get off bottom. He got rode for about 2 minutes and scores with 20 seconds to go to send it to overtime. And I think Waters was really trying to ride that match out. And when he escaped, that 20 seconds, he was trying to get his breath back. And then I think going into overtime, Waters wanted to kind of relax a little bit and then go find him a takedown. And I looked at Leo in between. I said, you got to go at him right now, right? And I mean off the whistle. Boom. Leo clubs him, left hand to the head, snap, runs the corner, puts Waters in a position where he's got to wrestle right now. And I just don't think he was ready, right? Leo then got kind of big, ran through him on a double. Waters went for a nice scramble, and Leo was able to, kind of finish that in the first 10 seconds and punch his ticket to national tournament. But yeah, for him, it's like the same thing. He's getting better every week because he's getting in better shape, right? He hasn't had that much training time. He's getting more wrestling. I'm pretty excited for him too. I mean, we got 6 guys that can make it happen, and yeah, we're going to go there and wrestle extremely hard, and that's kind of been the motto of our team since that MEC tournament. Is we kind of flipped the switch, like I told you, with our training, and it's been showing. It's been showing for sure in the way that these guys are wrestling.
And you mentioned the importance of points. You got that from your 4 other guys who didn't qualify for nationals. But Colton Drusius was able to get 5th place at 125 pounds. Roman Alvarado fought his way back from a quarterfinal loss and got 6th at 174. Ethan Lopez, who moved up to 184, was a finalist at 174 in MECs, was a 16 seed, took down the number 1 early on, found his way in the consolation bracket, still got 5th there, and then Colby Whitehill lost in the quarterfinals but was able to get a 5th place nod, which ended up being very important for your guys winning another Super Region 3 championship. So what did you like about those 4 guys competing in the way they came back on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, Colton looked great. He beat someone in the quarterfinals that he hadn't beaten in his career. Unfortunately, he suffered an injury in that match, and so then he went and wrestled in the semifinals with a pretty significant injury and lost in overtime. And I think that was really where the tournament ended for him. He had another match, but that injury, it really had a lifespan, and I think it was pretty much one match, especially at that high level. And so he really couldn't move at all. He also, the thing about it was, in the second match, he ended up getting another injury that was based off of the first injury, right? And so it just, unfortunate. He, returning All-American and wrestled really hard. It's just for him, the body didn't hold up. And that's unfortunate. But he wrestled his butt off, got great points. Then you go into, who do we have next there?
Roman.
74 with Roman.
Yep.
Roman wrestling up 2 weight classes just for the team, right? Like, that's a team player right there. He looked great, wrestled really hard, did what he needed to do. And you had some close calls in some matches where, he could have put himself in a position to go to the national tournament. Really, really happy for him. And he had a knee problem, too. He's on crutches right now from wrestling the other day. So, just a lot of guys that fought through it. Same with Lopez. Wrestled really great at the first one, beat the guy. I think Lopez just needed to find some more low-level attacks that he couldn't find late in matches. But again, someone going up, trying to figure it out, not only for himself but the team. Really proud of him, and he's going to go out to the national tournament with us, and he's a team player and help Leo get ready. And then Colby, essentially won it for us by going out there and wrestling and pinning his guy at the end. We won by 1.5 points. That pins 2 points. He gets in a scramble in his Conti semis. They call him for an illegal hold to lose the match, which, I think was debatable. I mean, it touched for sure. I just don't think you make that call. Like, it wasn't something that was really going to affect the position, in my opinion, right? And now I will say this. It was the correct call, right? I don't think it should have been called in that situation. It wasn't being used to progress the position, right? It was just the wrestling happened and the feet touched and they called it immediately. So I felt bad for him, and that's tough because everybody wants to go really bad, and so he has to go from that. And then, if we're not in this team race, fifth, sixth doesn't go. He wouldn't probably wrestle that, right? It doesn't matter, right? He's had problems with his feet this year, but I go over there and I say, hey, just be ready, just in case. And he's, obviously he's a kid and he just lost a dream. He's like, man, normal. Like I don't know how much I want to do this, right? And it's like, you're going to want to do this for future self, right? You're going to want to do this, and then goes out there, gets a pin, wins it for the team. So really proud of him for his resiliency there and doing something that, I know I've been there. I know he doesn't want to do, but went out there and did it anyway. So great team effort, really gritty team performance. That was a year of hard work gone into one day for a championship.
And the championship was won, like you said, you won by 1.5 points at 142. Grand Valley State was second, 140.5. I mean, this was a loaded, when you look at the top six, Grand Valley State, Tiffin, West Liberty, Ashland, Findlay, all really prominent national teams that you're able to defeat. West Liberty one that you lost to in the MECs for the team title. So how impressive do you feel like it was for you guys to go there this weekend and win the regional championship for a second consecutive time now?
Yeah, unbelievable, honestly. It was probably the best team effort I've had in the 6 years here from a group of 10 individuals. I'm super proud of it. It's a moment and a day that I think myself, coaches, wrestlers, fans will remember for a long time. It's a great stepping stone. These regional championships are hard to win. They are hard
Especially
to win.
in the region you're in.
Yeah, our region is stacked. We're the only team in the 6 regions that upset someone, right? Every other region, the top team in the region won the regional championship. We were the only one at being number 11 in the country, taking down Grand Valley, who's number 4, and Tiffin, who is, I believe, number 6 or 7. So, yeah, I mean, that right there shows you how tough it is, and we were the only team across the whole country that pulled an upset in the regional championship, and that's just a testament to this team and their hard work, and I'm super proud of the guys.
All right, and Glenville State will take 6 guys to the national tournament here in a few weeks. Coach, we'll talk to you next week to preview that, but appreciate you coming on today, and congratulations on the big championship.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.